Hello friends, welcome you all to the next lecture of JC eConnect series of online lectures. We are into module 4 and started with the topic moment of inertia. In the previous video lecture, we have gone through the concept of moment of inertia, understood its importance, learned about the concept of radius of gyration. In today's lecture, let us understand two important theorems related with moment of inertia. That is, the first one is the parallel axis theorem. The statement of this theorem is that this theorem states that the moment of inertia of a plane figure about an axis, say I11, parallel to the centroidal axis, that is x axis is equal to the sum of moment of inertia about centroidal axis and product of the area of the plane figure and square of the distance between the two axes. So the statement of this theorem is quite simple. We can write the statement in analytical form in this way. So let's start the discussion first with understanding the figure. So here we have taken an irregular shaped figure of area A. The centroid of the figure is located on the x axis and is marked with the alphabet G, that is CG. So we have used the notation G. So now in this figure, XX is our centroidal axis. Then we have one more axis located which is at a distance of y bar, okay, and that axis is named as 1 1. Now our axis XX and axis 1 1 are parallel to each other, and that's where the concept of parallel axis theorem comes into picture. So if we have parallel axis, then this theorem says that the moment of area of an axis, now which axis we are taking, 1 1, that is I11, is equal to the moment of area about centroidal axis, that is Ix or Ixx, plus the product of the total area A into the square of the centroidal distance or square of the distance between the two axes. Now here the square of the distance between the two axes is y bar square. So once again I'll explain the statement. We have a figure, irregular figure of area A. XX represents the centroidal axis of that figure. We have one more axis 1 1, which is at a distance y bar from XX. Both axes, that is XX and 1 1, are such that they are parallel to each other. Then our parallel axis theorem states that if we want to find moment of inertia of the given area about 1 1 axis, then we can directly find it by adding Ix, that is the moment of inertia about centroidal axis, plus total area multiplied by the square of the distance between the two axes. Okay, so this is what is the theorem of parallel axis states. Okay, so when we can apply this, when we have two axes which are parallel, one of them being the centroidal axis, we can use this parallel axis theorem. That is, if an axis is located, say we have x axis at the bottom, and if you find moment of inertia about centroidal axis, but we require moment of inertia about the base, which is represented by xx axis, so we need not work out again. We can directly use this theorem to find the moment of inertia about the base, as the base and the centroidal axis will be parallel to each other. Okay, so when we solve the examples, this application will be much clear. As of now, we'll just concentrate on the statement. So now what we have to prove is I11 is equal to Ix plus a y bar square, where I11 is the moment of inertia of axis 1 1, Ix is the moment of inertia of the centroidal axis, A is the total area, and y bar is the distance between the centroidal axis and axis 1 1. So for analysis, again we'll consider a small strip which lies at a distance y from the centroidal axis. We have taken an elemental strip which is at a distance y from the centroidal axis. So here comes the proof. So let us choose an elemental strip of area dA at a distance y from the centroidal axis. Now, moment of inertia of the strip about xx axis. How we have defined moment of inertia? Area into square of the perpendicular distance. So now what is the area of this axis? dA. And what will be the square of the perpendicular distance or centroidal distance? Y square. Okay, so y, as this strip is very small, y itself represents the centroidal distance. Therefore, moment of inertia of this strip about xx axis is dA, which is the area of the strip, into square of the distance, which is y square. Hope the first statement is clear. Then moment of inertia of total area about xx axis is nothing but Ix, which is equal to, we have so many such small elemental strips, that means summation of dA into y square. What is summation of dA? The summation of all such small areas. Y square is the distance of all those areas with respect to your xx axis. Therefore, moment of inertia about xx axis Ix is equal to summation of dA into y square. This is the basic definition of moment of inertia. Now, let us find the moment of inertia of the same elemental strip about axis 1 1. Okay, the formula remains the same, that is dA, which is the area, into square of the distance. Now, what is the distance? Y plus y bar square. Okay, see the distance, what we are using here is y plus y bar square. That is the distance which we are using. Okay, then moment of inertia of the total area is nothing but what? Summation of dA into bracket y plus y bar square. Same concept, because as that elemental areas, many elemental areas will make the entire body, which is summation of dA into bracket y plus y bar square. So here this is nothing but what? Expansion of y plus y bar square. Okay, what is expansion of y plus y bar square? It is nothing plus a plus b the whole square is equal to a square plus b square plus 2ab. So what we get the moment of inertia as? Summation dA into bracket y square plus y bar square plus 2y into y bar. Therefore, when we open the bracket and expand, I11 is equal to summation dA y square plus summation dA y bar square plus 2 times of y bar into summation of dA into y. Okay, so now interestingly, as the distance of CG of the whole area from centroidal axis, okay, distance of CG of the whole area with respect to centroidal axis will be 0, because we are standing on the centroidal axis itself, and if we want to find the distance between the CG and the centroidal axis, of course the distance has to be 0, because CG itself lies on the centroidal axis. That means for the last term, that is summation of dA into y, okay, 2y bar into summation of dA into y has to be substituted as 0. Hence the last term of this equation gets eliminated. Okay, so just remember that last term is 0. Okay, don't break your head much here. Then when we see the equation remaining two terms, the first term summation dA into y bar square, okay, summation of dA into y square is nothing but what? Ixx. Okay, see the first term of this equation and see this, both are matching. Okay, so summation dA square, summation dA y square is nothing but Ix. So instead of summation dA y square, which is the first term of this equation, I am substituting Ix. Then the next term is what? Summation dA y bar square. Okay, summation dA y bar square. So summation dA is nothing but capital A, which is the total area, and y bar square I am keeping as it is, which will be the statement proved for the theorem. What had we stated? I11 is equal to Ix plus A into y bar square, and we have concluded it by landing on that statement. So the most important thing here is the last equation which we have formed here. Okay, in this equation the last term is 0. The first term of this equation is nothing but Ix itself, and in the second term the summation dA, okay, summation dA is nothing but area itself, capital A, and y bar square we are keeping as it is. Therefore the statement of the theorem, which was moment of inertia of an axis which is parallel to the centroidal axis, can be obtained by the summation of moment of inertia of the centroidal axis plus the product of A into y bar square is thus proved. Okay, so out of the two theorems which we will be discussing, maximum question papers of your university examination, one theorem has been asked. Okay, maximum time one of the two theorems, that is parallel axis theorem, or the next one which is perpendicular axis theorem, which we will be studying, is asked maximum times in your question paper. So understand this statement wise. Okay, it is basically nothing but your four statements are expanded and the terms are substituted. That's it. This theorem is very easy to understand and digest. Hopefully you write it down properly, and if you have any doubts you can get back. Actually we were hoping that till this concept comes all things will get back to normal, so that these things are better to be explained in the classroom, but we cannot control the things which are happening. So we are trying our best to explain these concepts through the videos. So this is your first theorem, that is parallel axis theorem. Now let's move on. So fine, similarly it can be proved about the other axis also. If you take one more axis, that is I22, which is vertical, and compare with y axis, then we can write I22 is equal to Iy, that is moment of inertia about y axis, plus A into x bar square. That's it. Okay, it can be done for both the axis. Derivation can be done for both the axis. Once you prove for one axis, you need not prove it for the other. You can directly just write the statement, or even if you stop at that previous view itself, it is more than sufficient. So let's take up the perpendicular axis theorem. Now once the word comes perpendicular, that means your axes have to be perpendicular to each other. That basic thing you should realize. Now here we will be dealing with all the three axes, that is x axis, y axis and z axis, and all the three axes will be mutually perpendicular to each other. So let's check out the statement. This theorem states that the moment of inertia of a plane figure about an axis which is perpendicular to the plane of the figure is equal to the moment of inertia about other two mutual perpendicular axes, is equal to the sum of moment of inertia about other two mutual perpendicular axes. Means if I have three axes, x axis, y axis and z axis, if I want to find Iz, that is moment of inertia about z axis, as per the theorem of perpendicular axis, Iz will be equal to Ix plus Iy, as simple as that. Okay, so this theorem states that any axis if you take, and if you want to find the moment of inertia when there are other two axes and all axes are perpendicular to one another, then we can prove that Iz is equal to Ix plus Iy. So let's start with the proof. Now I have taken an area such that with respect to all the three axes the area is placed, all the three axes are perpendicular to each other. So we'll take a small element, okay, the dot from where all the arrow marks are coming is a small elemental area. We are not taking a strip here, it might be written in the statement, but we are taking a small elemental area here, okay, of dA, and this area is at distance y from x axis, distance x from y axis, and distance r from z axis, which is your vertical axis. Okay, so then from the figure, okay, what we can see here from the figure, we can take this element as a triangle. Okay, we can take this element as a triangle with r as the hypotenuse, base as x, and the height is nothing but y. Okay, so see here friends, this triangular area I am considering with r as hypotenuse, x as the base, and height, this height is nothing but your y. Therefore, from a right angle triangle, using your Pythagoras theorem, right, what we can write, r square is equal to x square plus y square. So this is the elementary thing which we have derived, which we will be further using in our equations. So in this figure we have an area A, we have taken a small elemental area, not a strip, a small elemental area which is of area dA. It is located such that the distances from the various axes are x, y and r. Then we get a triangular element wherein using your Pythagoras theorem, r square is equal to x square plus y square will write. So you can mark this as equation 1 in your notes. Okay, this equation we will be using further to prove the theorem. What we have to prove? Iz is equal to Ix plus Iy. So now again the proof is hardly 4-5 liner, which is very easy to understand. So what is moment of inertia of the strip about x axis, okay, or the elemental area about the x axis? dA into y square. Y is the perpendicular distance. Therefore moment of inertia of the whole area about the x axis will be what? Ix is equal to dA becomes summation dA. See, your concepts are very easy, because once we are taking only one element, it is dA. When we are taking the entire area, it becomes summation dA into y square. Now similarly, moment of inertia of that element about y axis is nothing but dA into what is the perpendicular distance with respect to y axis? X. Therefore x square. So Iy is nothing but dA into x square for the element. Now if we take the entire figure, what will we get? Iy is equal to summation of dA into x square. Okay, so dA becomes summation dA when we take the entire figure. Then moment of inertia about z axis, again same, dA, which is the elemental area, into what is the distance for z axis? It is r, so r square. Therefore moment of inertia of the whole figure about z axis is what? Summation dA into r square. So these are all one by one step, hardly you can solve and get, it comes for 8 to 12 marks. Okay, you can get those marks in hardly 5 minutes if you are proper with your solving. So now in this last equation, in place of r square, from equation 1 what we have got? R square is equal to x square plus y square. Substitute it, x square plus y square, which is equal to summation dA into x square plus summation dA into y square. What is summation dA into x square? Nothing but Iy. What is summation dA into y square? Nothing but Ix. And what we are equating it to? Iz. Thus therefore Iz is equal to Ix plus Iy. Okay, so what here we have done? It's a perpendicular axis theorem. We have taken three axes which are perpendicular to each other, and we have proved that if we want to find moment of inertia about one axis, it will be equal to the summation of moment of inertia about the other two perpendicular axes. So briefly how we have gone? take the elemental area or a small strip area dA, moment of inertia about x-axis is summation dA into y square, moment of inertia about y-axis is summation dA into x square, moment of inertia about z-axis is summation dA into r square. In the previous view with the figure we have found r square is nothing but x square plus y square. Substitute that in place of r square. Then when we substitute in place of r square, x square plus y square, expand the bracket, summation dA into x square plus summation dA into y square. But what is summation dA into x square? Iy. What is summation dA into y square? Ix. So we can easily prove this perpendicular axis theorem. So friends, in this lecture we have studied two theorems, which is a parallel axis theorem and perpendicular axis theorem. In parallel axis theorem we saw that if two axes are parallel and one of them is in centroidal axis, how easily we can obtain the moment of inertia about the other axis, which we got as I11 is equal to Ixx, which was our centroidal axis, plus A into y bar square, which was our parallel axis theorem. Two axes were parallel. When we came to the perpendicular axis, we choose three axes which are perpendicular and proved that the moment of inertia about one axis is equal to addition of moment of inertia about the other two axes. So both the theorems are quite easy. Basic common sense and understanding is required. So hopefully you will understand these theorems and complete them, so that in the next class we can go ahead with the derivations for simple figures, wherein we will be applying these theorems. So most probably for the syllabus as of now in moment of inertia, mostly we will not go with the problems, we will stop with the derivation for the elements. Okay, let's say, because still we have 2-3 days of time, most probably we will close up with the moment of inertia of the various elemental figures, which will be the next class. So till then, please do these theorems. If you have any doubts, you can get back to me. Thank you very much.